All right, everybody, welcome to Entrepreneurs International Network, our weekly training call with leaders, mentors, and experts from all across different industries, but specifically really helping entrepreneurs get their message out into the world and really create powerful impact in people's lives. That's what this is all about. And every single week, we bring on a new leader and expert that we know, that we work with, that we think are extraordinary, that do really big work in the world. And today's expert is is one of those people at really a very high level, someone that I've actually known for going on close to probably 23, 24, or 25 years. It's in the 20 of years, and just someone I admire. And I'm going to give you kind of the official bio here for Rachael Jayne Groover. And then I'm going to say just a couple of things about her because she's one of my most favorite people on the planet. Seriously, no doubt, no joke or anything like that. So, Rachael Jayne Groover is the founder of the Awaken School. This is a community that loves having an elevated conversation on spiritual awakening, human potential, and making a positive impact. Not only is Rachael Jayne a best-selling author of 3 transformative books, a TEDx speaker, and an Inc5000 CEO. She is also the creator of The Art of Feminine Presence and The Art of Masculine Present trainings, a revolutionary program that has been taught worldwide to over 14,000 people in the last 14 years. That's 14,000 people that have been in the training, not on events, in the training. That is incredibly powerful. And Rachael Jayne, I'm going to bring her on right now. Rachael Jayne is such a special person in my life. I've known her for a long time, and every time I hear her talk to our communities, it just reminds me of so many wonderful aspects of who I can be and and the work that I can do in the world. And I think that you guys are going to love hearing from her today. Rachael Jayne, it's always a pleasure. I love you. I'm so glad that you're here talking to our EIN community. I'm going to turn it all over to you, and let's go.
Let's go. Well, I want to make this as interactive as possible because I talk a lot about presence, being seen, not just about being visible, but resonating with people. Because I think that word visibility is often thrown out. You just got to get visible, get visible, get visible, get visible. But if you're not in resonance with who you're trying to speak to, it doesn't matter how visible you are, people are just moving past you pretty quickly. And like Robert said, I could talk about lots of different pieces that would help you all here as part of business, because you're all entrepreneurs, building, startup, scaling. I'd love to know actually in the chat, where are you kind of in your business? Are you first like 1 to 5 years in, 6 figures, hitting like where, however you want to describe it, like please, whatever you want to share, whatever you don't want to share. And as you do that, I really want you to be thinking through this hour, how could I help? I've had to take every role in this company practically, except for bookkeeper, customer service, all the things right in the beginning, all the way up now to CEO, and overseeing a team. We're probably about 13 or 14 people right now. Some outside the country, in the Philippines. Rachael is here from my team, and people who work in Loveland, and other people who work in the US. So there's a lot of things that I can help with. And I've been called the feminine spiritual Tony Robbins more than once from different people coming from different places. And I feel like that's partly me, because when someone asks me a question or someone really shares the biggest challenge that's going on, there's something that happens in my mind and heart where I just know immediately what they need. I don't know how I know it. I just know it. And I could open maybe some doors today of how you're thinking through something, what you're up against. Would that be of help I'll give you a few practices that have made a huge difference for me in my ability to be seen and heard, and then we could open it up. because I think that that makes it really, really practical for everyone. So does that sound fair if you share in the chat? Hello, hello, where you're about. Okay, thank you, Leslie. Yeah, where are you in your business? And then write down any questions that you have. You're getting free laser coaching here. And I know that I could support you in different ways. And of course, Robert, if you hear anything or you want to like guide me in some way of like, hey, what about this? What about that? I think that would be fun. So feel free to jump in
Cool.
whenever. All righty. So how I really started the work that I do at the Awaken School is around a big, big fascination with what creates stage presence, what creates a person being able to walk into a room and have a lot of presence. What does it take for someone to be really amazing on camera? Not they all look, all done up and pretty and handsome and looks like they're speaking perfectly, but what has them make you not want to stop watching? And do you have a few of those people that you're like, when you get pulled in, you're like, I can't stop watching them? And what is that about? Because I love helping people become binge worthy. And that is very much about your resonance and the way that you communicate. So I've always been fascinated with this because I was a singer full time in Australia before I moved to America. And so I had to understand what that was in a performance. How do you still the room? How do you have everybody in the palm of your hand? And so I've always been fascinated with this. And also internally, I'm shy and introverted. So it takes, like, if I know someone, all bets are off. But if I don't, I tend to be more like I'm waiting for someone to introduce me to someone else because I have that shy energy. And so there's always been this push-pull dynamic between really wanting to be seen and not wanting to be seen, and really wanting to be in the spotlight and not wanting to be in the spotlight, going, what the hell am I doing this for? Like, really? Why would I put myself through this? Has anyone had that thought in the last 5 days? Why am I putting myself through this? Or am I the only one? I'm still saying it. But I know that I also have a mission and my message is important. And you're probably here hanging out with Robert if your message is somehow got to do with shifting the consciousness or health or impact positively in the world is what your business is about. So that's what I want to talk today about, is not the strategies so much that you're learning, because how many strategies do you currently have that you know you should do? How many? Put in the chat. Doris, how many are on your should list? And Kathy, I see. Hi, Pat. Hi, Jade. I mean, for me, it's like at least 10 or 15 that I'm not doing, that I know I should do. And why am I not doing that? Well, that's part of the list, but presence is what precedes strategies. It's energy before effort. Strategies and effort are there, but anyone can shoot a video these days, but you're going to have the presence to pull it off. Anyone can put a speech together, but are they going to say, oh my gosh, I need to invite you to 5 other places after seeing you? Or are they like, that was okay? Or the sales that you need to do. Anybody can write on a napkin a $20,000 offer even. You write it down, but do you have the presence to pull it off by selling it? And to hold your center when people are like, oh, I don't have the money. Right? So it goes into everything. So I've had to do quite a bit of work on my system, on my energetic system, my mind, because I want to shrink. If I was singing, I'm fine, but if I had to speak, I was not fine. And so I'm trying to figure out what's going on around my fear and also why no one's paying attention to me. So Robert knows this because when we met back in Ashland, Oregon, there was already back then hundreds and thousands of coaches and consultants and healers and facilitators coming up going, I see these big names and I also want to be on Oprah's couch, right? And then there was few that were doing really well. And now, gosh, I would say it's probably 10 times the amount who are on this side that are trying to get something going and hit a good income by doing great work, but still only a few are making really good money, making a big impact and all of that. And why is that? And so I was in this camp, wanting to get into this camp. And what I realized, being quite close to some of these people, was that this group, when they were speaking their message, they had a lot of presence. They knew how to hold a room, whether they were like Gary Zukov, who's pretty kind of quiet and introverted in a way, or Neil Donald Walsh, who is a little more flamboyant and bigger and storyteller, or anyone in between. They had different personalities, but they had, what do you call it? The it factor, the presence. What was that, Leslie? I can't hear. Put it in the chat. Star quality, presence. I don't know. What do you say? And I am seeing the chat. So yeah, charisma, right? They've got this thing. And I'm like, I see it. And I don't have it unless I'm singing. I've kind of got it because that was what I was trained to do. So I started doing Toastmasters, thinking that was just going to get me over my fear of speaking because I just was so scared. I mean, the first time I had to speak, it was on stage when I was doing a performance and the guitarist broke a string and said, oh, Rachael Jayne, just talk to the crowd for a moment. I'm like, you cannot just say that. You cannot just say, talk to the crowd for a moment. I'm not a speaker. And all that came out was, how's it hanging? Like, that's all that came out. I didn't know what to say. Early on in my Toastmaster experience, I had like, and Leslie, you'd made a funny face with Toastmasters, so maybe you know that you have like 7-minute speeches that they do, you know, and I went blank for 7 whole minutes. Like every few minutes, I was like, I can't. It was the worst thing ever. So I just so you know, I'm coming from the worst of the worst in regards to that. And now you have to be quite a compelling communicator, don't you? You have to be not just average. You've got to be quite extraordinary communicator these days. Otherwise, you're just a lot of noise to other people, right? So I did Toastmasters and I realized that was good for one thing. It got me from really scared to unshakable in my fear, where I would do the speech at least and I could string sentences together. But it didn't make me magnetic. So what I ended up doing was put these 44 practices together that would make anyone way more magnetic and compelling, no matter what it is that they were going through or what they did. I was working a lot with business owners, and it worked so much faster than Toastmasters, right? Not surprising to Leslie, but it was a surprise to me at the time, because it was more on the energetic side and on the ability to be in the moment when you're sharing your message. And so that opened up a lot of doors, because now I'm not fearful of sharing my message. And I'm also able to be on a stage and have people go, wow, that was amazing. And I had a lot of kudos early on of like, you're so good. And I'd get other speaking gigs and I'd get other opportunities. But there was this gnarly thing going on in the background where I would see someone else share their message and they would get so many clients after they would share. And I'm like, not many people were coming to me, even though I was really good at communicating. And so I had to eat some humble pie and go, I can't just be not fearful and magnetic. I've got to be strategic. And are you finding that for yourself? you've on one side, it's the energetics of being compelling and people can't look away and they have to keep listening. And the other part of being very strategic. And so I didn't want to go to that. I don't know about you, Robert, but I think you were more of a natural marketer and business person. You were. I mean, no, not hands down, you were. You were. You loved marketing. You loved the sales process. You loved entrepreneurship. I'm sitting there like answering phones, you know, doing my thing. I didn't feel that natural, like, I have got to be strategic to get a client. And I remember you being
Well, I'll say that I wouldn't say that, but what I was is I was one of those crazy people that would throw out crazy ideas, hoping that they would stick, and then really be able to speak the vision to that, which I think is really a big part of marketing, right? But
positioning.
there are a
Yeah.
lot of better marketers than me that look at the numbers and the, the conversions. That's definitely not
Right.
me.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I didn't even think of like what positioning was, but I had to get with it because Robert's business was doing great, multiple businesses. Obviously, Neil's was doing great. Like, there's a lot of people around us that was like, okay, I need to get past my fear of selling myself. I mean, what puts on the brakes for you guys around nailing it with no fear, highly charismatic, and extremely strategic? Pat, you willing to pop it in the chat? Kathy, what puts the brakes on? Jade, what puts the brakes on? Is it fear? More people aren't listening? I put things out and I don't get the response I want? Or I know there's something about the strategy that I'm trying that isn't working as well as possible? Or is everyone a multimillionaire here already in your business? Right? And so why I ask that and pause is it's important to see what was going on. And for me, it was a tiered thing. And these practices were really what changed it. I moved from Ashland to Fort Collins in 2000, end of 2008. I had a very bad back injury. I couldn't move very well for a couple of years. So I was in Start Your Business while you're on Vicodin. Real great method for that. But I had to do it because no one else was. I didn't have a job. I was, in a foreign country. And I had just met and then after a little bit married my husband, Dada Groover, who was looking after me at that time of healing, but I had to like do something. And so I got 5 women to come to my living room to practice these practices because I was my first guinea pig. I was doing them and then I would share my message or invite people to something. And people were responding to me very, very differently, very quickly. So I got 5 of the women. I would teach them a practice, and then they would do it for that week. And every week they would come back and go, oh my gosh, it's working. People are responding to me very, very differently. And that's why I'm talking about this in coming at it different ways, is the way that people respond to you directly relates to your income, doesn't it? Right? And for a lot of people, the energy is too sleepy. I'm not called to attention when you speak. And other people, it's too performative. It's too, I almost feel like I'm listening to an audiobook with the voice and I'm telling the story and it's just a little too much. And so we did this with these 5 women, and within 6 months, I had 35 women coming to my living room every week. Why was that? It wasn't a big living room at the time. We have the women were being asked by their friends, what are you doing? Something is different. And they would say, I'm going to Rachael Jayne's living room doing these weird ass practices, but they're working. And people would come and they would work and work and work. That's why 14,000 people have gone through the process, not because I'm a good marketer, which I am now. I had to learn and had to position things. And I love that. I love storytelling. I love all of those pieces. But you can only be so good a marketer and not have a really, really strong program or process that solves a lot of problems. And not only does these practices that make you unshakable solve the issue around your presence and your charisma and your ability to hold people's attention, because you have to hold people's attention these days, but it's about reducing your fear in big, big ways, in reducing the anxiety that just, well, for some of you feel it and then you go into it anyhow, but some of you, you'll put on, you'll scroll or you'll watch Netflix too long or something to just mitigate the fear of really going for what you want. And really building a business, it's not easy. Robert, have you found it to be really easy to grow and sustain and not lose your shit when you're building a business?
Unfortunately, I lost that a lot. So yeah. I mean, even after you create some level of success, it's still not easy, but at least you get to go back to that, that muscle that you built to, remind yourself that you can do it. So
Exactly. It's not. And so what I've found is being in business for yourself is an emotional and mental roller coaster.
yeah.
Does anyone else agree? Jade and Robert are with me. Like, yeah, it's just like, oh my God, one day you're up and one day you're down. And what I found is these same practices, and as I show you a few in just a moment, they were what was right at the center of what I would call spiritual awakening, which in other words is the end of the seeking mind, the end of the grasping or controlling mind, and the earth suit, as I like to call it, being able to stabilize unshakable inner peace. That's what I would say spiritual awakening was. And it was the same practices, just tweaked a little differently. So I first used the practices to find my man because I was a hopeless romantic for a long time and not able to bring in the love of my life. And so that helped bring in Data Groover to my life. And then I used it for business. And this is really my secret source of how I've grown. And then it really flowered out in ways that I wasn't expecting around my spiritual awakening path. And, Rob and I, we haven't yet had a big conversation about this, but we were around spiritual communities in Ashland that didn't necessarily float our boat all the time. And so I'm not talking about spirituality as entertainment. I think there is a lot of spirituality that's entertainment. Oh, I'm going to go do a nice workshop this weekend and do something or learn. I mean, like the really deep work that allows your mind to let go of its core fixations. So you truly have choice in the present moment, and you know that you are held and you are carried by something larger, whatever you believe that to be. Because if you don't feel a really deep down in your toes, I am held and I am carried, you're always going to be on that mental and emotional roller coaster, because one day you feel you are, one day you feel like you're not, one day you feel like you are. And in 2018, I had a massive shift in my understanding around how spiritual awakening works and the transcendental experiences I had over and over and over and over and over again within a year period that just kind of rocked my inner world. Because before that, my mind was going most of the time, I mean, I was a happy person, but it was going. And now when action stops, my mind stops, which is crazy to me. Even if I say it now, it's quiet. This morning, I've got a lot going on this week. There's a lot of stress happening on the outer realm this week. I have 2 team members are moving on. So there's all of this, and I've got my I've got an event this weekend, our 3-day event in person at our retreat center. There's just a lot, but it's like the mind is still still. The mind is still still. This is amazing. So I say all of that to maybe, I don't know, give you some hope, or point you in the like, this can be easier as we grow something that's hard. So you can find out more about me at the Awaken School, theawakenschool.com or rachaeljayne.com. But a few pieces that I want to highlight is this is really about spiritual and financial awakening, because all the people that we work with have been on a personal development path or spiritual development path for many decades, but they're wanting both. And what you can do is look at which way do you normally put your focus on as you're growing professionally. Do you often put it on the personal development, the spiritual development side? Like, if I just get better at doing my inner work, everything is going to work out. Are you more on that side? Or are you more on the like income, money, strategy, financial awakening side, the success side? To me, I was on the spiritual side almost always. I love making money and I love putting it to things that are beautiful and impactful, but it's always been really the inner work, the inner work, the inner work, until realizing as these practices help you awakening your wealth potential as well. So just keep those two things in mind as we go through. How can these practices solve the mental and emotional roller coaster you're on and the financial awakening that you're looking for? I've sold over $20 million from a physical stage, and I love coaching speakers. That doesn't mean like on a stage, but maybe Zooms or videos or what have you, because I can make you way more magnetic very, very fast. I've sustained a multi-7-figure-a-year business for 8 years, and I've survived and happier than ever. And I shared that before. Been in love with the love of my life for 19 years. We are co-owners, work together, and that's a whole thing in itself, right? Not every partners can work together well. And owner of the new retreat center in Loveland, Colorado, Casa Sagrada, which is where we do all of our events. And JVX was there last year, and was it Action Talks? Yeah, Action Talks was there last year as well. And it's just a beautiful space that we love doing our sacred work there, our powerful work there with entrepreneurs and leaders. So maybe one day you will join us out there, flying into Denver and coming up to Loveland, Colorado. Now, do you need to be the inspirational face of your business? Just nod if you do. Like, you're the one that's doing the videos and the speaking and the writing, and no one's coming to save you, even though you hope that they do, right? I think that's the normal dream of an entrepreneur that doesn't like marketing. I would be so good if someone just did my marketing for me. Does anyone else find that? I still find that. Robert, do you still say that? If only someone else would do the marketing and I could just
What a
be
dream.
the talent.
What a dream that would be.
So, we need to be the inspirational face. And do you want to get off the mental and emotional roller coaster while you do this? Yes. And do you want to be an unshakable manifester? Like really, really, really good and really, really fast. Because I tell you what, this is one thing that I am so badass at. And Robert, I have to tell you a quick story about the Unshakable Manifester. Did you hear my story about these 2 items?
No. No.
You're like, what are these
What the
things?
hell are what are those? Yeah.
So I always have manifestation stories up the wazoo from these practices and the spiritual work and the successful work that we do. For small, we manifested a $500,000 grant for our retreat center. We had a lot of money miracles happen with that. There's just so many things, and I'm sure everybody else has one, but I'll just take a quick segue to tell you my latest manifestation, which is freaking hilarious. And This is how dialed in you can be. So quick story, I am doing my face the other night with a new mirror that Dada has bought me, which is the Ring mirror. And it's the one where you flip the normal, and on the other side, it is 10 times magnified. I don't know, guys, if you even use those things, but women, you know what I'm talking about. Now I've not got a 5 times. He's got me a 10 times. I don't know if that's because, I've got a big birthday coming up here, but I'm like, I can see everything. I can see everything like I've never seen anything before. I think Jade knows what I'm talking about here. So I'm looking at myself and I realize I need a mirror like this to be on the road. I need a mirror like this to be on the road because I can't see all the things that I can see. And people come up to me close. And I'm like, I really need a mirror like this with an LED, but something big, maybe with a stand. So I'm thinking that in the night. And also what I'm thinking, Jade, is now I can see all my pores. And I'm like, these pores are massive. I need some help with my pores. So that was the night. Dada's away. He doesn't know anything going on. I don't go online or anything. The next morning I wake up and I'm going out to, the dogs are doing their business out in the morning. I go for a walk and I'm not a morning person. So I'm kind of like, the sun's coming up. And I hear, you need something to help you with your pores. That was the first thing that came to my mind. And I'm like, what? I'm a little vain, but I'm not a person who'll be thinking that in the morning, right? Anyhow, lunchtime, the same day from the same night, I get a mysterious package in the mail from Amiro. And I'm like, what is this package? And I open it because I'm like, I didn't order anything. I didn't say anything to Alexa. I didn't go to online. No one knows anything about my desire for a mirror and for pore work. And I open it and it was a gift from this company that I had bought something weeks ago. So I'm opening it with my friend who was there and I'm like, oh my God. It is a magnifying mirror, quite big, for me to take on the road. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I was just saying last night, I want a mirror that's a magnifying. And then I open the next thing. I'm like, I've never seen a contraption like this. Leslie, have you ever seen anything like this? I've never seen anything like this. You tip it, you put water in it, you tip it back, you plug it in, it heats up, you click it, and it opens your pores. It's a mist, it's a steamer for your pores. Now, I'll leave it up to you what happened there. But I'm telling you, stay with me. You will be an unshakable manifester of things you didn't even realize you wanted. And it ends up that they just sent them to me as a gift. Weeks later, God knows. God knows, but we are connected to the divine, infinite matrix of creation. Alexi, do you agree? Doris, do you agree? So what big dreams do you want to create while you're off the mental and emotional roller coaster and the most present and compelling person in the room? So if you are that, which you have all said that, I want to go to my first practice, which is, am I home? That's a question. If you could write it down on a Post-it note, right? Am I home? Am I home? And what do I mean by that? So in communication, if you are outside of your body, most of your awareness is outside of your body, you're going to come across a certain way. When you are home in your body, particularly in the lower energy centers of your body, you're going to come across very differently. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to be outside my body, and then I'm going to come inside my body. And I call that home, particularly my lower belly center. Am I home? Okay. And what I would like for you to do is tell me in the chat what happens first time versus second time. Okay. All righty. So I'm going to be in my head bubble this time. Well, hi, everyone. It's Rachael Jayne here, and I'm so grateful to be here today to support you with your entrepreneurial journey and to help really shift the energy that you might need when you're sharing your message and when you are wanting to get out there and, yeah, really share with the people that you want to connect with. And so I want to go over a couple of practices. The first one is called the Am I Home practice, really being in your body, blah, 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 blah. What happens when I just go above my head and forward? Just pop a word in the chat. If I could have at least 3 words there. Hang on, let me go to my, okay. We got disconnected, less energy, and distracted. Exactly. So that's what's going to happen. Now, how in your head bubble are you when you're on a camera and like you're supposed to be, shooting a really cool video and you're like, blah, blah, blah. Most people are in their head. Now I'm going to come back into home and I'm going to feel the lower belly back toward my spine. And I want you to notice what happens when I speak from the center of my energy field and the center of my body. And I want to kind of on purpose say nothing of any significance. So you can notice what happens even when I'm not really saying anything. And so as I go along, can you feel like the connection comes back in? Can you feel probably harder to be distracted, especially if I was talking about something that you would need to be listening to, and the energy's back? Is there anything else that you notice when I am home and potently in my lower belly? Brightens your surroundings, yeah. Like it lights you up. It lights the person up. The second, exactly. It feels like, and I feel like that too. When I'm out in my head bubble, it creates anxiety. It creates nervousness. And that's what's happening with everything else too that you've got to do, whether it's a sales meeting or a pitch or an event that you've got or networking. If you're an introvert like me, I don't love networking, like all of that's happening. But when I'm home, it's not happening. I've stabilized my presence into the present moment. And even when I'm not feeling like 100%, and I can be in my core, in my physical and energetic core, people always come up to me and go, there's just something about your energy. I hear it all the time now. And I did not used to hear that all the time. As soon as I disengage, just like everybody else. Can you relate to being in a room with a lot of head bubbles? Just, and it's not very fun. It's not magnetic. You don't want to follow that person. You've got to become the person that people want to follow. You can't just want more followers. It's becoming that person. So the second thing that I want to do, and then we'll get someone to be a volunteer here, and Robert will pick on someone if no one puts their hand up because we'll blame it on him.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Is the second thing is knowing your signal. So you could write that one down, know your signal. And just even with the Am I Home practice, what if I could train you like a really good athlete or performer, musician, who no matter how high stakes the situation was, you were in your core, physically, energetically. How much more money do you think you could make? Robert, how much more money do you think you could make? You do events, you do speaking, if all the time you were in your core. Do you think it would make much difference given that you're so
It'd be
advanced?
it'd be massive. It'd be massive. And from this one particular perspective is that I would do a lot more because I'm comfortable with it at that point. Because when I'm not there, when I'm outside my head bubble, I push away those opportunities. So I mean, it would probably 10x my results.
That's a great example. I would agree for myself with that. Yeah, it's like it helps me lean into I'm ready for that. Where when I'm in my head bubble, I don't feel ready for that. So that would be good. And in the early stages, I was like, well, if I could speak on a camera, or do a small speech at the local networking group, I could probably get to 6 figures with my basic little coaching thing and AFP, Art of Feminine Presence thing. I did not realize this one skill was really worth millions. So just know what that is worth to you. Otherwise, you don't practice it. This is going to be like this. Oh, what was Rachael Jayne saying again? But I feel like I've shown up today to really support you with something that's a missing piece in all the stuff that you're trying to do. So the second piece is around knowing your signal and really being willing to declare how exceptional you want to be as a communicator. Do you want to be an A+ communicator and storyteller and speaker around your business? Or do you want to be a B+? Or do you want to be a C+? Just pop it in the chat if you already know. I want to be A+. I want to be A+. And a lot of people will say, I want to be A++, but they're not willing to do the training and work and practice and stage time or camera time to get it, but it is absolutely worth it. So know your signal means you've got to understand how you come across and what would change that signal for you to resonate with your people more. So who's willing to be a volunteer here? Anyone willing to have some stage time to share?
I think Leslie wants to do it.
Okay, perfect. Let's have you unmute. Can you unmute there?
Yeah.
Thank you. So we'll spotlight Leslie so everyone can see Leslie and me. Perfect.
Leslie.
Yeah, give her a round of applause. She saved your ass. Well done. Thank you so much. So I'm going to have you just share for 30 seconds, maybe a minute, what you do and why you love what you do. And then I'll say pause. And then we're going to talk about signal. And then I'm going to have you run it again. And everyone else, I want you to notice if you didn't know Leslie, I mean, we all secretly love Leslie already because she is so present to this room right now. I mean, she is, and that means people are going to pour into her more, right? And Jade and Pat, and like those are like a right here that I can feel. We just naturally want to pour into more, people like that. So even though we love her and we feel her presence, what else do we notice in first and in second time? All right, over to you, Leslie. What do you do?
Well, I am a career transformation coach, and I help people that are in corporate jobs, usually mid-career level, who are struggling, who are stuck, who may have been in their role for far too many years. They want to move forward. They don't know how to get there. Usually it's something around mindset, but I don't focus on that. They don't know what to do next. So I help them to propel themselves to the next level.
Wonderful.
You want me to go on?
Yeah, and why do you love what you do?
Because I feel I have a mission. I was myself in corporate for many, many years. I myself felt stuck. I was that person. I didn't know what excited me. I was afraid to feel excited. I was afraid to put myself out there. I did it, but not with enough intention. And when I was laid off for the last time, I said, that's it. I actually always dreamed of, ironically, becoming a motivational speaker. I want to change the corporate environment in terms of having helping people to be more present, to
Yeah.
stop hiding behind that shield. Ironically, here I am today. I want to learn how to do it really well. So my mission is I really want people to be more authentic at work.
Love it. Give her a round of applause. Yeah. So you haven't started the motivational speaking career yet, but you're like on the cusp of it.
Yeah, so to be honest, I started out thinking I wanted to be a one-on-one coach because I have a deep down fear of actually going up there and talking to people. But in order to promote myself and get clients, all my marketing coaches are saying, you got to give workshops, you got to you got to create a TEDx talk. You know, you've got to reach out to companies and offer to give training. And that's really not what I wanted to do one-on-one coaching. So it's a bit of a catch-22.
You don't have to, actually. You don't have to. But why I think they're saying it is because they feel psychically or intuitively your desire for it. Right? Not everybody has to get on stage and do the TED talk, but you've got a natural strength in it. Wasn't she great? Right? Like you have a real, so your signal, here's what's really important on the positive.
Right.
Yeah. But on the positive side, we need to know how we come across so we don't have to try so hard. We just know it's there. And I would say, Leslie, you have a really strong balance of warmth and competence. And most people will go on the warm side or the competent side and need to work on the others. I was a warmth person and I had to work on the gravitas and the competence and the authority coming through my signal. And other people, they've got a lot of authority and they need to let's warm it up a little bit because it's pushing people away. So you've got a really good balance of that. And it's very easy to listen to you, very easy to hear the message. So this is a difficult volunteer to deal with in a minute because she's doing a lot of really good things. So so know that. So what I would do is say to yourself a few times later what you just heard me say. Natural speaker, a lot of confidence, a lot of warmth, a lot of easy to listen. So it just, every time someone says it, it sinks into the cells, it sinks into the cells, it sinks into the cells. There's nothing that's going to be more confidence producing than speaking and getting good feedback, right, on what it is. So what I would do is one thing, there's a few things we could do from the present standpoint, but I'm going to do one thing and everyone notice what changes. And that is through the physical body. The physical body and energy body apologizes for our power. Everyone has some way that it does that. And one of your ways is the head tilt. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Seen it. Yes.
So what is the head tilt about? Do you know?
Yeah, diminishing, like, diminishing myself, making myself smaller. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it doesn't come across that way to me. Like it usually is for people, like, diminishing, but I don't feel you shrinking. I feel like it is, don't be intimidated by me, like me. I'm nice versus, and that's, I can relate to that too. I've got to be a nice Australian gal. I can't be too much for anybody. Otherwise I'm going to get my head cut off. And so I did that quite a bit. And why I think it's happening is because underneath your energy centers are pretty strong. And so it's coming up. You've got a strong voice. And then, but if I just like let it out without this, people
You've
might
nailed it.
People might judge me as what? People might judge me as what?
Too strong, overbearing.
Exactly. So what you can do is straighten the head up and just imagine the connection between your heart space and your home space, right? The home being, am I home? And the heart. And everyone can do that right now. And you're feeling them open, like energy centers opening, more receptive, just more available in this moment to you, to the room. And when you breathe in that way and widen your vertical core, or especially your heart, like allowing it to glow, you will be able to keep your head still because this is activated. I'm going to do it and then you can repeat after me, Leslie. I'm going to not have my heart on and have my head directed. And just notice if I'm going to be really, really in my authority and really in what I can help these corporate people do, it comes across a little bit like this. Then keeping your head still, heart, 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 heart. I love to work with people who are coming from corporate because they're done with that story and they want to find a new story, rewrite their story, be in the chapter of their work that makes them come alive. That's two different people speaking, heart off, heart on. So now you do heart off a little bit, head still.
I like to work with people who are in corporate who, sorry, I beg your pardon.
That's all right. We can see you.
Okay, I can't see you, but that's okay. The doorbell was ringing. I like to work with mid-career professionals who are ready for the next promotion, but they don't know how to get there.
Good. Pause there. Now, heart, 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 heart. The love for what you do, the love for your people, and head straight.
I love to work with people who are in their Fortune 500 corporations, who are mid-career, who are dying to get to the next level, but they're lost and confused and they need help. I have a strong desire to help these people propel themselves to the next level, give them the strategy that they need to get them there. I'm sorry.
No problem. No problem. You go grab that and I will.
Practice.
Yeah, exactly. So does everyone see that you need to know your own signal? Like Leslie's got some ideas of how she apologizes in her body. I had to get that. Your body and your energy gives off a lot. And also what's happening is it's affecting how off the mental and emotional roller coaster you are. So what is the skill worth to you for me or someone like me to come on and really give you some training on how your body doesn't apologize for your power and how you become really clear in your communication? And of course, get off this either too performative or too shrinking. Be in that unshakable place. Would you like to go on a little journey with me to continue this kind of work? Anyone feel like this might be of support? If you do, I'd love to have you join me for a live intensive. And I believe that being unshakable is the greatest advantage, not only in speaking, but in your business scale, in your business climb. You have a mountain to climb in front of you. And I think that this work is a big part of why the consistency for me personally. Being unshakable is the greatest advantage in everything. And I want to help you become the most present and compelling person in the room. And so we have a training coming up called Spiritual and Successful. Getting off the mental, emotional roller coaster and being a badass in business, peaceful and badass. So I'm going to train you to increase your magnetic presence, captivate with your videos, your talk, and your sales. I'm going to help you increase your abundance frequency to manifest big dream, financial wealth. A lot of this conversation is around your relationship to value, money, and what you're offering. Some of you are currently offering what some would call the lime green V-dub, not a McLaren, right? You're trying to build something and you haven't got the right vehicle. You could have a more higher value vehicle. It's about attracting clients and opportunities, because I'm going to help you amplify your personal brand so you stand out. This is about getting the brakes off, dissolving those core fears, less avoidance, getting off the mental and emotional roller coaster. The whole first day is on the spiritual awakening journey for you to not just have moments of the bliss, moments of the quiet, but have it be solid and to look the part, be more confident and radiant when you walk into a room. My teammate Rachael has the link. She'll pop that in the chat. And here is the best part of it. The regular price is $997. Tickets are on sale now for $997. And because of your relationship with Robert and this community, you get to come for free. A free full scholarship ticket, which means a $197 refundable deposit. So we need to know you're here, because it is going to be at Casa Sagrada in Loveland, Colorado. And before you say, I want to be virtual, don't tell me that. You are having a slow death via Zoom these days, aren't you? Who's dying a slow death by Zoom? You're going to fly into Denver. You're going to get a group shuttle up to the Marriott. You're going to love it. I need to get my hands on you in a small, intimate group in our powerful space and do this work. I've got 2 dates. Maybe some of you are free this weekend, or August 22, 23, 24. So have a look at your calendar right now. Click on the link and make sure you save that link open, because this is just for today. This is a today special with Robert's group. Rachael will put the link in, the email for us in the chat, so you can reach out immediately if you have any questions. But I'm going to give you a copy of my book today if you register, which changed my life incredibly, and 5-part book club of the Unshakable Inner Peace. But spiritual and successful is, I know I've done it. I've done this work for a long time. I think I'm going to rock your world. If you feel like there's something that me and you resonate with, something that was spoken today, I always put the intention, prayer, whatever you want to call out, that the people that are supposed to get this work at the right time, they just get the nudge. They might not want the nudge because they're going to have to get to Denver International Airport. They might be like, I'm too busy, but you got the nudge. And if you're getting the nudge, our easy way is to give you a complimentary full scholarship ticket. We always know people do other things with us when they're there. I just want to give you the experience, and you will very clearly know if that was just an amazing thing or we want to do some work after that. Thank you, Robert, for having me. I know when you get to kind of questions, I was a bit wordy today, thinking I had a whole hour.
That's right. You gave us a lot. And that's the thing I want to say is that, I was at your very first event that you did in Casa Sagrada when it opened. And of course I've seen you in your mega events with 200 or 300 people in the room, or 300 or 400 people in the room. And I remember the house in which you did all of those intimate, meetings with the women, and just the involvement that I've seen you. But the thing that's been consistent with you and your work is that how clear it is what happens with people when they do spend that time with you. And that's the thing that I really want people to understand, is that taking time to go to Colorado to, whether you can pull it off this weekend or in August, which August is very reasonable because you do a lot of planning to make that happen, to be there in the room with you. Because when you walk away at the level of transformation that you're able to give people, Rachael Jayne, that your business, anybody's business, completely transforms. That expense of traveling there, that there's no expense at all for the ticket because you get your money back, is just a speck in what will come back to you because of what people do with you there. So Rachael Jayne, you're amazing. And I just want everybody to know that. And everybody here, and I hope everybody clicks on that link and actually takes you up on this offer.
Thank you. Thank you. And I think that there is some intangible power in being in the room with other entrepreneurs who are all in on their personal development, all in on their entrepreneurship, and a lot of corporate people will be there. It's about success in whatever it is, but there's something intangible about getting an injection of this kind of work along with all the things that you'll be learning.
Yeah, and to add on to that, I think Zoom has become our comfort zone, and we all know that we can't have the level of transformation that we're seeking in our comfort zone, that we have to remove ourselves from that into a container. And Casa Sagrada and the energy that Rachael Jayne and her team provides in that container is where the magic really happens. If we always just stay behind the computer, we are either going to slowly drip to success or we won't make it there at all. So that getting out of that space out from behind the screen is so critical. And I love that you do that. You only do that in this way because that's what you want people to have.
Exactly. It's kind of, I'm just putting that into the chat, Marla. Yeah. Yeah, it's so important. I'll finish with this because I know we've got to go, but to really line up, and that's why Leslie and all her marketing coaches were telling her to do the speaking, is because she was put on the planet to speak in front of bigger groups. And you got to know who you are and what your archetype is, how you like to grow businesses. And I'm a performer at heart and in the energy of people heart. And so sometimes it's a big thing to go, okay, I'm not going to do virtual events anymore. But you've got to do what your heart's saying. And like with you with the life business mastery, right? Business life mastery is going toward what has you come alive. It's got to be there. Otherwise it's not fun. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Rachael Jayne. You're the best. I love you.
Welcome. Have a great day.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us here today. We will be back next week for our next EIN leader call. Appreciate you taking the time, and make sure you go click on that link and get connected with Rachael Jayne and her team. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you next week, everybody. Bye.